Could this be the best budget 50mm F1.4 lens?
If looks could kill, if looks could kill.
In this video, I'm going to review the second edition of the Samyang 50mm F1.4 lens. I'm going to show you example footage and photos with the lens, and I'm going to help you decide whether or not this is the right choice for you. Also, I want to say a huge thank you for Samyang and Focus Nordic for collaborating with me to make this video, but please keep in mind that this is just a prototype, not the actual production model, so that might affect a little bit on the results. According to Samyang, this is the smallest and lightest among all the large aperture standard 50mm focal length lenses that are compatible with the Sony FE mount. 50mm is a great focal length for filming middle shots, close-up shots, and so on. And I especially like to use 50mm when I'm filming these over-the-shoulder type of shots of some dialogues, or when I want to film some detailed close-up shots to enhance the story. And I gotta say that this lens works really well in those kind of situations, and because it's got a wide aperture of f1.4, it's great in low light because it lets a lot of light into the sensor, and because of the fast aperture, it also gives you this nice cinematic looking background blur, that creamy bokeh. And as a matter of fact, when I'm not using a wide lens, one of my favorite focal lengths is the 50mm focal length. And this particular lens, the Samyang 50mm f1.4, is really good for both photos and videos. And I also use this lens to shoot some example photos and video with the Sony a6500, and the results looked really good. Even though the Sony a6500 has a 1.5 times crop, which means that when you pair this lens with the Sony a6500, it's the full frame equivalent of 75mm, and the aperture is the full frame equivalent of f2.1. The results with this lens and the Sony a6500 still looked really good. Also, we did some autofocus tests with the full-frame Sony a7R III, Sony a7 III, and the APS-C crop sensor camera Sony a6500, and I gotta say, the autofocus worked really well with all of the cameras. Another really cool thing is that this lens has a minimum focusing distance of only 40 centimeters or 1.3 feet, which is really cool because you can get some unique perspectives by getting close to the subject. And also, of course, this lens has a weather sealing, which is really good. Like many of the other recent Samyang lenses, this also has a custom switch, which you can customize to adjust the aperture by rotating the focus ring. If you use this lens with the lens station, you can customize the switch to best fit your preference. And there will be more features added through firmware updates in the future. By the time of recording this video, Samyang has not yet released this new version of the lens, but according to Amazon, the older version, the first version of this lens costs around $399 US, and I'm guessing that this one, the newer model, will be priced somewhere around $400 to $600 US. And if we compare it to Sony's top-of-the-line 50mm F1.2 G Master lens, well, that thing cost $1,998 US. So there's quite a big of a difference in the price. So the big question is it worth for you to invest in that kind of a lens, that much money, when you have something like the Samyang? If you're someone who's on a budget but you're looking for a really good 50mm lens for either photos or videos, and you want that nice f1.4 aperture for the nice background blur and those low light capabilities, then this is a great option because it'll cost a lot less than many of its competitors. If you found this video helpful and want to learn more about lenses with a great bang for your buck, then I highly recommend that you watch either one of these videos somewhere here on the screen, because I think you're gonna find it helpful as well. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video. Take care.